Alright, so yeah, this is my task from quarantine, sitting and beyond the grave. My name's Dan. YouTube blogging is far from my usual thing, so thanks to anybody who's watching this, commenting, liking, or subscribing. I'm neuro-divergent, I have autism, likely ADHD, and also an eating disorder known as ARFID, autonomic restrictive food intake disorder, if you know what that means in basic terms. It means I only eat pretty much key foods and no vegetables or really nutritional stuff apart from eggs, meat, and complex carbs. It's pretty common amongst people with autism, apparently. Something I've dealt with my whole life, and it's a really difficult thing to deal with. Going to people's houses and that I just can't eat meals and I cop a lot of anxiety. Anyway, that's part of the story. I find it really hard to put on weight due to the fast metabolism, so I'm double vax and I'm very pro-vax entirely. So if you hear an anti-vax for some reason, stick around and listen to my story. It might change your mind. A lot of things I've dealt with since being here in hotel quarantine. It's now day 12, so I'll get on with the story and the script. I've been in hotel quarantine since September 13, now approaching the last few days of it. I've been in Penrith, Sydney for work since July 13th, double vaccinated in the last few days of it. I'm double vaccinated during that time. That process was begun after being really extremely suicidal and living alone with my mother, my other brother Jason this past year after a breakup with my partner of 8 years in June. And the death of my youngest brother Davey back in July 9th of 2020, which really hit me for a ton of bricks. Losing him to an overdose of heroin and Xanax, and I speak quite frankly about this because I know it's important that people be aware that harm reduction techniques that I know I've ignored that night, if I'd made those different choices, my little brother would still be here with me right now. And in some way, he kind of is. And I know he's looking out for me. He contacted me through a mirror one night in Sydney when I was completely sober. You can choose to believe these things or not. That's up to you. But I'm a skeptic, and it did happen, and a few other strange things. He told me that everything would turn out okay. I just assumed I knew what that meant with the 110 plans that were already put in my head. I did not really know what that meant. I'm on drug treatment programs. I'm doing pretty well. I've got many interests and hobbies, particularly gaming, music, both instruments, guitars, drums, and DJing professionally in the Australian psytrance circuit. But due to judgment and over the time of COVID, gigs have stopped coming in, save for back in May this year I played a gig. But I haven't even been on stage or been to a gig since 2017 before that. And I'd like to thank Dean Rayman Lester that you really helped re-kickstart my love for music and being on stage again this year, so thanks for that, dude. Big ups. You guys helped, and Colin and DTMX, you guys especially, Solarflex, you guys have really helped me, and Cody, so thank you for that. Anyway, so after working in Sydney, doing hard labour for 10 hours, 6 hours a day, with my other little brother Jason, who really cares about me, but he can be a bit empathetic about such issues such as neurodiversity, and just different people can be different people. He expects everyone to be able to do what he can and be tough and just be a tough man and handle it out. And that's all great and well, but not everybody can do that. Not many people at all, to be honest. And it's hard to be judged. And trauma affects people differently, and no one deserves to be judged from, know the whole story. From, if you walk a day in the shoes of somebody who's experienced homelessness or drug problems and mental problems, and not being able to have, true 12 months of actual stability in their entire lives. It's something you can barely imagine unless you've been through it yourself. So I'll start from the beginning with my brother's death. And forgive me if I well up a little bit here, because I'll probably will cry. It's hard for me. On July 9th, 2020, I woke my youngest brother Davey, rest his soul, buddy, to go to my ex-girlfriend's place to get high. And since he'd been shouting me various things over the days prior, I just wanted to return the favour. I usually keep a Narcan and naloxone kit. If you don't know what that is, it's a drug that reverses overdoses of opioids and saves countless lives. I left that in my drawer at home, so I didn't take it with me in my car. And I regret that every day. Believe me, that's the worst bloody thing in the world. We left around midnight on the 9th of July. We arrived at my girlfriend's place, my ex-girlfriend, and we all used together. I suspect that we all overdosed because it was really strong stuff. But I woke, as I always tend to, quite soon after my brother slumped over. I woke quite soon after to find my brother slumped over on my girlfriend's lap, unconscious. I began CPR for what seemed like minutes. I lost fearing my girlfriend's father, who hated me for obvious reasons, waking up screaming, "Get out of my house!" in his Macedonian accent. which eventually, you know, did happen. And I carried my little brother's corpse out of this house, heavy. I don't know if you know how heavy a pretty much dead body is, but then when they're lifeless, they're really heavy. Um, you know, so he screamed and yelled, "Get out of my house!" Blah blah. After I'd been giving CPR and compressions, so we got him into my car and we took him to the Northern Hospital in Epping, where they refused to give him Narcan. I mean, we got a bit confused along the way. I jumped in the back and kept giving him CPR, and I checked his pulse, and that he still had oxygen, and he wasn't completely blue. He still had oxygen. He was still alive, and I got him to this hospital. 100% promise everyone that. And I regret this so fucking much, because who the fuck works at that bloody hospital, man? You guys don't listen. An opiate overdose is easy to treat, and people like me know how to keep someone alive, at least until we can get them to a point where there's that. And I've done it for countless friends and saved them all, but I could not save my little brother. So guys, if you can, if you use drugs, carry a fucking Narcan kit, even if you don't use opioids or anything like that. Just carry that shit, because you don't know when it might save someone's life. Okay? Honestly. Honestly. I passed away that morning, and I've lived with the guilt and the shame. I had to live with it. I was taken in by my brother Jason and lived with him for 6 or so months. What was already a crazy year with the pandemic starting, just as I was beginning to get my life together, like, before that. They say everything happens for a reason, and none of that story's a lie. It's my honest truth of what happened. Everything from here on out is what happened this year, mostly in the space of the last 3 or 4 months from July. So on July 13th, Jason and I, we hit the road for Sydney. He offered to give me a job up there labouring, you know, something different for me. I didn't have much experience, that kind of thing at the time, but it was something I'd wanted to, because, you know, the money's good, and I needed something to kickstart my health and get me a bit more mentally back there. And this did it for me, man. Like, wasn't the, you know, way I intended it to all go, but it's done the right thing. So yeah, on July 13th, we hit the road, and it gave me the boost of confidence I needed to help me gain some weight and keep me active. He gave me the job. We had paid accommodation in really nice apartments and stuff, so thanks, Sean. If you do ever see this, that Sunnex, you helped out a lot too, mate. Like, I can't thank you enough. And you too, James, I really can't thank you enough. I know you only do these things because you care, but I'd been basically getting policed too much, and as a 34-year-old man, it's hard to have your little brother constantly up your ass like a, you know, police officer on crack, accusing you of things that you may or may not be doing. 99% of which I wasn't. But either way, I had to leave before it got either violent and unsafe for one or both of us. So anyway, on the 12th of September, I flew back to Melbourne, where I was stopped at the border. You know, I had my vax passport, double vaxxed, a negative test result that day, paperwork, work permits, all that stuff, yada yada. Apparently, hotel quarantine was mandatory, even though I had pretty good reasons to not be in. And 2 workers there, Charles and Emma, you guys were great support. I spent 6 hours in that airport before getting put in hotel quarantine with you guys trying to help. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. You guys did things that no one I thought would do and help. And Charles just kept reaching out to me. So thanks, buddy. You're a fucking champion, bro. So this basically, you know, it caused an existential crisis for a guy like me who did all he could to be part of the solution to this damn Delta pandemic, to be punished, jailed, when all I wanted was to be at home. I didn't care if I was in isolation or not. It was with my pets and my mum, my comfort. That wasn't to be. After a few days going crazy and being locked up, I thought, well, I'm not getting out of this. I've tried it all. Led us to the chief health officer, ranting and raving, trying to smuggle contraband in, the lot. I can't even explain it. I won't go into it. But it got me some, you know, amazing support from the AOD workers and mental health workers, which has been absolutely amazing and helpful. Nothing is quite as much of a shock to the system as being locked up in what's basically a prison, having all your comfort and space limited, no clothing washed in 2 weeks, other than my underwear, which I've been cleaning in the bathroom sink with a soap bar and hand scrubbing it by hand. So I don't have to wear stinky, smelly, skid marky undies. Not real nice, you know. they're clean now. That's all I got. The rest of this stuff I haven't washed in 2 fucking weeks. So I just cannot be bothered with that. I just want to go home and wash it in a washing machine, you know. Anyway, just recently I found out that, you know, one of my family members, or not family member, but someone close to my family, he tested positive to COVID-19, to Delta, and a friend I know who had been in contact or nearby to where his mother lives. I told her, and she went and got tested, and she tested positive too. So I've been, you know, providing support from afar to her, and you know, that's been something that's sort of been stressing me out a little bit because she's got health problems. So I don't wish that upon anybody. You know, so I know your trials start for you guys who do have COVID, and you're still, you know, you'll be going through this for another week or so, but, you know, week and a half. But hopefully you guys will get through to the end, and you'll see the light. And if you, you know who you are, good luck. I hope you do well. I felt the need to tell this story to maybe help someone else who might be going through this with similar issues. My time in here between playing Gundam games or playing guitar, playing with models or whatever it is I've been doing, talking to Queenie, Billy, Scrammy, Mum, Charles, and the great health workers, Katie and Adam, all your nameless counterparts. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. A special thanks to my ex-partner Emily and my son Zane for their time and support, and I'm really proud of you, Zane, for getting vaxxed and doing the right thing. You roll up your sleeve and you become a part of this solution so fast, so big ups, buddy. It took some bravery on your part. I know you suffer from autism stuff just like I do, and how hard that was for me. At your age, I couldn't get a needle. I would have shit my absolute pants. Also like to thank Stevie, my sister from another mister, for your daily calls, chats, your support. You've spurred me on through this and you've really helped. So thanks for that. I'll conclude this little video script, being the first script I've ever written, with a little bit about vaccines, their story, and what not to be afraid of. I've had 2 doses of AstraZeneca. I had done some research over the past year, particularly about thrombocytopenia, the blood clotting issue. And what I can gather, it's likely caused by lackluster nurses not checking before injection. So when you do an intramuscular injection, you should pull back on the plunger. I don't have it or a syringe, but I can demonstrate. Basically, you pull back and you check that there's no blood in the syringe. If you're doing an intravenous, you check that there was blood, make sure you're in a blood vein. But when you do a muscle, you want to make sure you're not, because it can cause all kinds of trouble. And in the bicep, it's not likely, but 1 in 2 million chance you'll hit one if you don't check. And about 1 in 2 million people, the nurse hits one. And for some reason, the WHO guidelines don't say to do this. It's fucking insane. Like, any old doctor or nurse will tell you it's just standard practice. They all do it. I really requested it and made sure when I got my doses that was going to be fine. And I got a bit sick the first night, so 18 hours I feel a bit crappy, but piss compared to what other people are going through right now. I can tell you that. I know it personally. I've seen it. You know, I'd like to thank Dr. John Campbell on YouTube. You've done me such a favour this past 12 months watching your videos and getting education from you and links to sourced information that I can actually check up myself and see the statistics and see the facts. They're peer-reviewed, they're sourced, you've no reason to lie. So anyone who doesn't want to believe you guys are bloody insane. And all you COVIDs out there protesting every day, making this problem worse, spreading this disease because you think it doesn't exist, you're wrong. It's fucking here. It's real and it will affect you, and it just doesn't seem real until it hits home. But when it hits home, or you get locked up in a place like this, or whatever it is, the numerous other bloody things that are happening, and I don't know, maybe you'll all get lucky and this will all get released soon because people like me and others have done the right thing and got us to those bloody herd numbers nearly. We're nearly there. We're nearly at freedom. Close. I can smell it. I can smell it. And to anyone who didn't go and get vaccinated, who doesn't want to be a part of that, screw you. Unless you've got a real valid reason and oh, it hasn't had enough research. It's not a valid reason. This vaccine's had more money poured into it than any other vaccine in history. If you know about the smallpox vaccine and inoculation and variolation and what that is, variolation is how they first discovered vaccines in the first place. And that's from observations of an old English doctor noticing that milkmaids milking the cows who contracted cowpox somehow didn't get smallpox. So he thought, all right, I'm going to cut this little boy's arm, just test it on your random lab rat guinea pig child you're treating, and stick live cowpox virus from pus from sores off these milkmaids' hands into his arm. And then expose him to smallpox. And he didn't get smallpox or sick. Got the cowpox, sure, he got a little bit sick, but, you know, like chickenpox. You'll get it and then get over it. And then we're all sort of protected and we're all used to that, right? And that's normal, but we're freaking out about a fucking flu and a jab. And everything from 5G to Bill Gates and crazy crap I've heard, man. You guys, stop. You don't understand. You don't know. You get your facts from Facebook or retards who have no idea what they're going on about or understanding of science. And if you actually speak to people who understand science, they'll tell you straight up, you guys, you're being meatheads and you're making the problem worse and you're extending this thing. And thanks to you guys, people like me are now able to get jobs because 300,000 you dickheads just got sacked because you refused to roll up your sleeves because you're what? You're scared of a pinprick? Because someone told you have to do it? You have to do it, not because the government wants you or there's some like nefarious plan at play. There's none of that. None of that at all. There's just your health, your family's health, caring for people like, you know, your mother may have breathing issues. My mum's got chronic airways disease. Yeah, she's double vaccinated, thank God. But my friend with asthma now has COVID. And that's scary. You know, you don't know. Someone in the 30s, they could die from this shit. And you'd feel horrible if you're even partly responsible. Or you understand the guilt of something you could have avoided and then someone dies because you made a bad choice. Until you've been through that, you'll never understand what I've been through. And, you know, I basically killed my little brother, essentially, through my actions. He made his own choices, and they led to his demise, but, you know, I opened those doors, I showed him the doors. I let him through, and I have to live with that. So, think twice, guys, before you know, when you take someone to a door and that door is a door that they want to walk through, that you think that they should walk through, not, you know, that's going to be beneficial for their health and well-being, not against it. And if you do plan to do something that may be, you know, unsafe or dangerous, have a backup buddy plan. Tell somebody. Be careful, guys. I'm honest. So I've just been through my day 12 COVID test. Fingers crossed it's negative like the rest, but I can't see why it wouldn't be, considering there's another tale from beyond the grave, as I said, like this whole mirror thing with my little brother last 2 weeks ago that just blew my mind, but I'm not going to go into it here. So yeah, I mean, you guys probably noticed that I'm into Gundam, and I've got some Gundam models there in the background and stuff. I really like Gunpla and gaming, so I do actually want to get a bit more into this whole YouTube thing and get in front of the camera and talk to you guys, and hopefully you're interested. But that's basically my story. If you play Gundam Battle Operation 2, my name on PSN is Shrewd_Osmosis0. It'll be in the links or crap in the description, so add me and we can get on the game, man. I'll play with you. And big shout out to Kakarot197. Your videos help me get through this lockdown shit, man. Like, peace, brother. I'll be contacting you, so thanks, guys. Like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be back with you guys soon. Cheers.